Hey everyone, this is AJ for Celestial Tacos. We're playing some Explorer on Magic the Gathering Arena. This is a deck I'm calling Walkers. It's mono white, and I use 5 different Planeswalkers to keep up the pace and keep up the tempo of the game while bolstering 1 or 2 different creatures just to swing in for the win. Start off with our creature package here. We got Lunarch Veteran. When another creature enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life. It has Disturb for 1 and a white. It's a 1/1 for 1 white mana. When you disturb it, it comes into play with flying, and then whenever another creature you control leaves the battlefield, you gain 1 life, and then it gets exiled if it's removed from play. So there's a first of our little Soul Sisters type cards. Next we have Daxos Blessed by the Sun. For 2 white, you get a 2-star. It's a legendary enchantment creature, Demigod. Daxos toughness is equal to your devotion to white, so how many white pips you have on the battlefield. Whenever another creature you control enters the battlefield or dies, you gain 1 life. So stuff coming in, stuff going out, you're gaining a life off of. Why all this life gain? Boom, Voice of the Blessed. For 2 white, you get a Spirit Cleric that is a 2/2. Whenever you gain life, put a 1/1 counter on Voice of the Blessed. As long as Voice of the Blessed has 4 or more 1/1 counters, it has flying and Vigilance, and as long as Voice of the Blessed has 10 or more 1/1 counters on it, it has Indestructible. It is doable. I promise you that. For our protection package for this little set of creatures, we have Boon of Safety, 1 mana instant. Put a shield counter on target creature. Scry 1. It's nice to be able to scry. White doesn't have a lot of draw power, so being able to scry at least gives you some control over the top of your deck. Next, we have God's Willing, another 1 mana instant. Target creature you control gains protection of the color of choice until end of turn. Scry 1, just more protection, just in case they try to do something that's not just going to pop that shield token. Alright, for some removal, we got Banishing Slash. For 2 white mana, you get a sorcery. Destroy up to 1 target artifact, enchantment, or tap creature. Then if you control an artifact and an enchantment, you get a 2/2 Samurai with Vigilance. Not many enchantments or artifacts in this deck. However, if they happen to be in play, at least I can get something out of it on the back end. Being a sorcery, it's a little slow, but you can catch them off guard on your turn. It's not the best, not the worst. It's what we get. Also for removal, I have Prison Realm, running 3 copies of this. It's an enchantment for 2 and a white. When it enters the battlefield, exile target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls until Prison Realm leaves the battlefield. When Prison Realm enters the battlefield, you get to scry. Again, scrying is great in this deck because there's not much draw power. A little better removal, we got Devouring Light. For 1 and 2 white, you get an instant with Convoke, and you exile target attacking or blocking creature. So Convoke is your creature. You can tap a creature to pay for that creature's color of mana towards this. So in this deck, I'm running 16-ish creatures, well, 12-ish creatures. So I can pay for this by just tapping down something. Alright, now the Walkers part of this deck, the Planeswalkers I'm using. We got Basri Ket for 2 white and a colorless. You get a legendary Planeswalker that comes in with 3 loyalty. +1, put a 1/1 counter on up to 1 target creature. It gains Indestructible till the end of turn. -2, whenever 1 or more non-token creatures attack this turn, create that many 1/1 white soldier creature tokens that are tapped and attacking. And then his ultimate -6, you get an emblem with at the beginning of combat on your turn, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token, then put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. Basri goes great with the Voice of the Blessed because he's putting 1/1 counters on him. He's giving Indestructible just in case you're afraid he might get targeted the next turn or that turn. So he's just a little synergistic walker in there. It's nice to be able to create some tokens when you're swinging. I don't use that ability very much in this. It's mostly of the uptick that gets the 1/1 counters on my Voice of the Blessed. Got a pseudo creature here in Gideon Blackblade. He's for 1 and 2 white. You get you get a 4 loyalty Planeswalker as long as it's your turn. Gideon Blackblade is a 4/4 human soldier creature with Indestructible. It's still a Planeswalker, and you prevent all damage to be dealt to Gideon Blackblade during your turn. +1, you get up to 1 other target creature you control of your choice gains Vigilance, Lifelink, or Indestructible on a turn. Just another great way to keep my Voice of the Blessed on the battlefield, so I can keep upticking him and swing through with the Voice of the Blessed. And his -6 is exile target non-land permanent. You're not going to be doing that very often. And if this guy sticks around for 3 turns, that's great. Then you have some way to just use removal. Alright, next we got the Wandering Emperor. For 2 and 2 white, you get a 3 loyalty Planeswalker with Flash. As long as the Wandering Emperor entered the battlefield this turn, you may activate her loyalty abilities anytime you can cast an instant. So this one's the one that comes out of nowhere and can just mess up your opponent's plan when they try to do something that you don't like. Her uptick is put a 1/1 counter and up to 1 target creature against first strike till end of turn. So yet again, we're bolstering up our Voice of the Blessed. This is always good. In a pinch, you can downtick her 1 to create a 2/2 white samurai creature token with Vigilance, so we get a little bit of a body in there to protect something. And then her -2, which I use more often than not, is exile target tap creature. You gain 2 life. So you're gonna be smashed in the face with a big creature on their side. Set her right down, and it's gone. You gain 2 life for your problem. Gain 2 life for your problems. Next, we got Karn, Cyan of Urza. Cyan of Urza. Cyan's a color. For 4 mana, you get a 5 loyalty legendary Planeswalker. His uptick 1 is reveal top 2 cards of your library. An opponent chooses one of them, puts that card into your hand, exile the other with a silver counter on it. I try to say sliver counter, but I can't speak English anyway, so it's all good. His -1 is put a card you own with a sliver. See, I did it. With a silver counter on it from exile to your hand. And -2 is you get your colorless creature artifact. It's -2 is you get a 0/0 colorless construct artifact creature token. With this creature gets 1/1 for each artifact you control. So here's my artifact source for when I throw the Banishing Slash up at the opponent. At least I'll have an artifact, maybe an enchantment in there so I can get the creature. Not the big deal with that one. That one's just my artifact enchantment removal. So with Karn, I'm going to look at the top 2 cards. Your opponent's going to give you the worst one. The other one goes on the side till next turn. However, this is basically draw a card. It doesn't matter which card you drew. I mean, you're going to scry your best card on top and hope that's the one they pick. But at least you're getting to draw a card. Final Planeswalker in this deck, I'm running 2 of Elspeth Resplendent for 3 and 2 white. You get a 5 loyalty Planeswalker. Choose up to 1 target creature. Put a 1/1 counter on. Put a 1/1 counter and a counter from among flying, first strike, lifelink, or vigilance. That uptick is what's great with the Voice of the Blessed, because now you're just putting more and more on top of that one creature. It's kind of like a half-assed Voltron build going on. And -3, look at the top 7 cards of the library. You may put a permanent card with value 3 or less, with mana value 3 or less from among them, into the battlefield with a shield counter on it. Put the rest on the bottom of the library in any order. Oh, in a random order. Excuse me. And then her -7, create 5/3/3 white angel creature tokens with flying. So all this good stuff works great with this deck. You can dig 7 cards deep and get something 3 cost or less. It's a permanent, which is most of the permanents in the deck, if not all of them, except for her. If you get the ticker up all the way, get 5 angels coming down on the battlefield. Hopefully your Lunarks are still out, or your Daxos is out, so you're gaining the life off of that. It's a huge churn in that one. Alright, land package. Running 20 lands. Still not sure if this feels right with the 20. Sometimes I flood, sometimes I don't get anything, but the arena system seems to be, if you're doing good, they start giving you shitty hands, and then you have to mulligan down to nothing and scrap that turn. So we got 19 snow-covered plains, just because I love snow-covered. And then we're running 1 of the Ganjo, Seat of the Empire. It's a legendary land. Comes into play untapped, which is nice. Tap to add a white, and then you can channel it. 2 and a white, discard it. 2 and a white, discard it. It deals 4 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. This ability costs 1 less to activate for each legendary creature you control. Which you can only use that off this, so it'll cost 1 less to activate and he's out, but that's not the point. It's just a nice little removal spell out of nowhere. Alright, that's the deck. Stick around. We're going to play a couple of games with it and just see how it fares. Thanks for checking this out. This has been AJ for Slash Tacos. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and tell all your friends, because we got more Magic the Gathering coming.